Dude, you ready, Vern?
Yep.
Good evening. I'm Jerry McIntosh, and this is Our Voices, the People's Media. Tonight, we definitely going to be talking about Trump terrorist that killed 37-year-old woman. Other day, we're going to address that and other hot topics. First, we'll go to our host, so Derek Scott, who is who is the chair of the Scammon County Democrat Party. We have BJ, Dr. BJ Brunis, with I think I'm saying his last name right. If not, you need to correct me. uh, and also Jill Daggs, who will be back in a minute. So I guess we'll get started, Derek. Uh, I think Derek, I don't know if Derek can hear me.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us this evening. Sorry, I was on mute. Thought I was trying to talk, but I couldn't. We will go ahead and start with our normal roundtable of discussion, and for those things that everybody in the community needs to know. So I will start with you, Mr. McIntyre.
Just want to say we're having our Move for Change is having its election tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. For all the members that are watching and listening, be sure to be there. For those, we're electing or re-electing board members, the president, the vice president, treasurer, financial secretary, just a whole host of the offices that will be there to be reelected tomorrow. Some and those who new that will be on the board. We have members that have indicated that they want to be on the board, and we definitely want them to be on the board. And we'll do that tomorrow night. I go back to you, Derek. I know.
Okay, thank you for that. Mr. Vernon, do you have anything for us today?
I think Vernon might have.
Okay.
I'm trying to find my mic here. I'm on. My mic.
We hear you. We hear you, Vern.
All righty. Great. Okay. Only thing I got is, the MLK parade is coming up. Okay. The MLK parade is coming up next weekend. Next Monday, tomorrow week for the parade. So if you hadn't got registered for parade, I think you can still get registered if you like to. Okay. And so that'll be it. We got the MLK parade in Pensacola. We got the MLK parade over in Milton. We got the MLK parade over up in Cantonment as well. And now, in addition to all of that, we still had the youth program is going to be on Thursday night. The prayer breakfast there is going to be Saturday, the 17th. Then they're going to have the religious program on the 18th at 3 o'clock. All this is going to be at Zano. And then we're going to be on Monday. And then also on Saturday night, they're going to have Living the Dream event. So I think that's what we got. That's what I have for right now. Okay. Excuse me. I hope you can hear me.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we hear you.
I appreciate it. We'll go next to my colleague and wonderful friend in Central Rosa County, Dr. BJ Brunis. Welcome and good evening.
Yeah, so in Santa Rosa County, we are, as Mr. Vernon mentioned, there's the Martin Luther King Parade in Milton. Also tomorrow, there's going to be phone banking, again, calling voters who are on the inactive voter list, as well as calling people in order to register for vote by mail. So if there's anybody in Santa Rosa County that is interested in signing up, just go to our website and you can go there and see how you can sign up to be part of our phone banking of calling voters.
one of the things I forget, they're gonna have a block party as well. The MLK block party too on the BJ over down at Mount Pilgrim Church on MLK Boulevard for Santa Rosa County.
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, great.
And can you give them, BJ, the web address for Santa Rosa County Democrats so they can go on for those who are interested?
Yeah, it's santarosademocrats.org.
Thank you very much. Let's see, we will now try to wait till Jill got back in. She's having all kinds of technical difficulties. So she probably should just stay where she was. But in the interest of moving on, I will then go on to the stuff that we have in Escambia County. And I think you covered most of it, Mr. Vernon, but I'll just, for the ease of making sure that we have everything, I'll just share what we got. And in that, we have, going back through, if just so you can see the graphic, again, just reiterate what you have. Prayer breakfast for the MLK starts with this Saturday. There's MLK prayer breakfast at Zion Hope. Tickets are $20, but I believe I heard, and Mr. Vernon, you may know better than I hear that everything's sold out. So I'm not sure if it is or it's not, but it's at Zion Hope. Tickets are $20 per person or $160 for the table. And again, the youth and young adult night is at 7 p.m. also at Zion Hope. That's on the 15th, followed by the 18th, the religious service at 4 p.m. Also at Zion Hope, followed that culminates into the Martin Luther King Parade, which is on Monday, the 19th. The parade starts at 11 o'clock a.m. If you are interested, the Escambia Democratic Party would love to have you be a part of our of walking in the MLK Parade. Again, the theme is with unity, we won't turn back. It is on January, of course, as we said, January 19th, starting at 11 a.m. We are asking, because we have to line up by 9:30, we're asking to join us. We will be somewhere in downtown Pensacola on Spring Street between Garden and Government Streets. Usually we're by St. Joseph Catholics, but I don't know where we are in the lineup this year, so I guess we'll wait and get that information soon. So if you just look for us, Escambia Democrats, or look for me, you'll see us somewhere along there. You're more than welcome to join us and walk under our banner. We'd love to have you. As we then move on, moving forward into the next week on the 24th, the Escambia Democrats are going to begin or continue with our candidate canvassing efforts. We have a lot of candidates that are coming up and declaring. And so we're going to be getting petitions signed as well as trying to re-enroll people and vote by mail. And the first event that we have is this 2 Saturdays away on the 24th. And we're going to do it every Saturday. So the 24th and 31st, February 7th, we're going to take off a week, the Valentine's Day weekend, and then commence on game on the 21st and the 28th of February, and then March 7th, the 21st, and the 28th. We're going to be using that time to knock on doors to collect petitions, also re-enrolling people in vote by mail. So if you're interested and you would like to help us knock on doors, please feel free to visit our website at escambiademocrats.org or stop by our office. We're at 2618 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive, and we can get you signed up and ready to go. And that is all that I have. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I don't. Again, I want to make sure that we keep this in mind because it's been a topic of conversation, but I want to make sure everybody's clear on it. On February 3rd and 4th, Equal Ground, along with NAACP, Movement for Change, and Northwest Florida Panhandle Coalition for Civic Engagement, and other groups will be joining Equal Ground for their 2026 Day at the Capitol. It is February 3rd and the 4th. There is a bus leaving from Pensacola to travel to Tallahassee. Will make stops in Santa Rosa County, Okaloosa County, and Walton County. It departs Escambia County at 3 a.m. Our time to get to Tallahassee in time for the beginning of the Day at the Capitol. But that event is free. It does not cost. Everybody, I keep hearing everybody say, no, it's $130 and I'm not paying for that. I don't want to go. It's not $130. It is completely free. You can ride the bus for free. If you'd like to join us and participate in any of those activities, they are free. All you have to do is sign up on the website. You can go to equal-ground.com. You can reach out to the the Northwest Florida Panhandle Coalition for Civic Engagement. You can reach out to Movement for Change. We can get you the information on how to register. We want to make sure we get at least 30 people on the bus so that we still have the bus available to take people down. Again, that will be on Wednesday, February the 4th. It will depart from Pensacola at 3 p.m. It will take you to Tallahassee, and it will also bring you back and drop you off in the same place you picked up. All you got to do is just get to the bus and ride it. And again, it is completely free. There's no cost associated to it. So if you are interested and like to go, please make sure that you join us for that event, and we would love to have you there with us. Mr. McIntosh, I will turn it over to you.
Oh, okay. Just, I guess Jill is okay like that. Just want to start with.
She's trying to come back in. I just spoke with her.
Just want to start with what what happened in Minnesota, because of someone was murdered. Let's tell it what it really is. It was murder. Someone got murdered because they were trying to get away from these Trump terrorists out there in Minnesota. Bruno, BJ, what you think should be done to this guy for shooting somebody 3 times in the face?
I certainly think that he should face, the fullest extent of whatever prosecutorial jurisdiction that the local prosecutors can come up with. But, we've seen this story play out many times. Unfortunately, most police-involved shootings don't end up in a prosecution of the officer. We hear about some cases where, like the George Floyd case. Those are very, very few and far between. We claim those victories, I think, because they're so few and far between. But the overwhelming majority of police-involved shootings, particularly of unarmed people, end up in the law enforcement officer, walking away unscathed. I don't see this being any different, especially under a Trump Justice Department. This man will easily walk, in my opinion. But he certainly should be in somebody's jail for what he did to that woman.
Vernon, you still there, or I guess not. So
yeah, I'm still here, Jerry. I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wanted to get your take on what took place out there.
No, you don't, Jerry. Oh, I come from a long line of cussers, and y'all don't want me. Y'all don't want my opinion on that today. I tell you, I think it's absolutely tragic that it happened. I'm sure that nobody will face justice for it. I'm thinking though, but it to me, it just going back to I don't know who said that when I guess it was over during Germany when somebody said nothing. Now they're shooting white women. Nobody's safe now. Okay, nobody's safe if they start shooting white women. Okay, so I don't know. We need a regime change. I mean, a complete regime change from top to bottom. But it don't look like that's going to happen. The only hope we got is 2026 elections, and I don't know how much good that would do. But no, I think it's downright disgrace, Jerry, that happened, and it apparently there's no shame in their game. Okay, There's no remorse. There's no anything. They take pleasure into what they're doing, and nobody's being held accountable for it. And I don't know. It's just, and I don't know what the hell he thinking that he can hold another country, like Tehran, is it Iran or whoever that raising hell over there?
In
He think,
Iran.
yeah, in Iran and these other countries. So Jerry, I don't know. We've seen a lot of things in our lifetime, but apparently to me it's just getting worse. That's all I
Jim?
got there.
I am so sorry for my inability to function today. So I am happy to be here. I'm not on this topic, however, but since this is where we are, I think Vernon is absolutely right that when you can, on video, shoot and kill a white person, a woman that was not aggressive whatsoever, having a casual conversation, where you stepped in front of the said vehicle, where you shot through the side of the car, where you could have shot at tires, where you could have moved out of the way. There's so many things that could have, would have, should have happened. And yet the president, the vice president, everybody's saying it's justified and they're fine. And they're, Vernon, you're right. There's not even a little bit of a remorse. Not, well, maybe they could have, or we're sorry for the family. Nope, it's justified. Just, that's it. It's justified.
Yeah.
And I know people say you're not supposed to live in fear. But if I was, I just can't even imagine. I can't imagine being there. And the more aggressive of the two was the actual wife. And she wasn't even aggressive. But I can't imagine sitting there, you like talking, just having a conversation. That's all they were really doing, is having a conversation and watching my wife, my loved one, my husband, my significant other shot and killed. And then you try to tell me that it didn't happen the way it happened, even though it's on video.
Yeah.
And on top of that, J.D. Vance said they have total immunity. In his speech the other day, he said,
well, they would. I mean, I think BJ's right. BJ, you're absolutely. What I said was, it doesn't matter. Let's just say they went to court and they convicted them, but they had to be there for forever, whatever. And then he's just gonna pardon them. So nothing's gonna happen.
Derek, what's your take on
So I guess what I would say is it's the first time we've seen, to be the point of this, we typically don't see any justice where it relates to police murders or murders committed by the police. That's what I'll call them. But I feel like this is the first time we ever saw a white woman get shot in the face in front on the court. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we have seen white people get shot and we've been desensitized to it. But I don't believe that's the case. But I think, I don't know. I guess what I'm surprised at is the lack of shock. You know, I guess I'm used to like when black folks are gunned down and murdered by the police, they're like, well, she should have complied. They should have did this. They should have done this. They shouldn't have run. They shouldn't have done this. Even when they're not doing anything, they always come up with an excuse. I guess what I was surprised by is that they vilify and demonize someone white, because usually you see the opposite. Well, what happened? They shouldn't have done this. This is outrage. But they've been like, well, she is this, she's that. She's a, what do they call her, domestic terrorist. She, you know, they've done everything else. So that was, I guess, that in and of itself, I was fully surprised to see, because I thought like white America would have been shocked and outraged. Like, there was more shock and outrage for Jimmy Kimmel being pulled off the air but this lady being shot in the face, they're like, well, you know, I guess that to me, like, you know, I don't know, it doesn't match. Like, so I'm surprised by where we are, you know, to the point, I think right now, we're not going to see any accountability. I don't expect there to be any, there's certainly not going to be any federal charges that can, I don't know if the attorney general for Minnesota and the governor is Tim Walz still, right? Tim Walz, right? Although he's not seeking re-election. He, you know, if there were state charges and it happens to lean where a Republican governor come in, I'm fully believe they would, if they pursued state charges, that they would be, and they got an indictment and a conviction, that a Republican governor would, some people pardon them or exonerate them for that. I don't know if the attorney general for Minnesota is a Republican, so whether or not they'll even seek state charges, it seems to be fine. However, I do believe that it's just my opinion that right now people are keeping a tally sheet. I hope, or at least I hope, that Democrats and those who are just waiting in the wings to get the power back, they're keeping their tally sheet. At least I would hope. And then when it's their time, everybody will cheat. So whether it's a matter of, okay, now we're in power, you finna get prosecuted, you gonna get tried, you gonna get to it. So I feel like it's gonna come. I just don't know when. So maybe that's 2028. It's not gonna be 2026 because the man in the White House will still be president. But in 2028, maybe things will look different. I don't know.
Well, you know, the Fed has taken control of the investigation and cut the state out from the investigation. But the attorney general, who is black, said they're going to continue to get much information, compile much information they can without the feds, and so they are moving forward in their investigation of what happened, because they are asking people to give them a copy or just send them the video of everything. If the other people that's out there have other video, to send it to them as well. So yeah, they are trying their best to do as much as they can, but the FBI and the federal government are taking over the case and not even sharing information with them anymore. So,
but see, how do they? But see, like, yeah, there could be a million videos in the world, but the problem with those ICE people is they're covered from head to toe, physically. They wear the shiesty mask and everything like that. So how do you? I mean, do you even know? Do they even know who the agent is? Are you saying
they know?
They identified him. They know who he is.
Yeah. So they know who he is.
I know he got in the car and drove off like nothing's happened. And to allow the people to just when the man who identified himself as a physician tried to render aid, they were like, "Nah, it's cool, we got it. They're coming." Like, wow, it's just it's amazing to see where we are. But you know, I think it should be, unfortunately, a reality check for a lot of people. Like, that lady wasn't doing anything, and she was shot in her face, like. And they lied and said, you know, like, oh, no, this is what she did. She tried to attack. She ran over the person. They had to go to the hospital. Well, we saw her get in the car. And the fact that they get on television and you have video that, like, proves or disproves what they've said, and they still get on the TV and be like, nope, this is what happened. You know?
Well, Derek,
I'm always amazed. I'm like, don't believe what you say, believe what we tell you. I'm just amazed.
It seems to me, though, that whether or not the federal government wanted murder is a state charge. It's not a federal charge. And it seems to me that if I were the officials in Minnesota. Okay, I would get enough evidence, get a grand jury, and charge him with murder in the state of Minnesota. And he may not, because he got Trump's near cover right now. He may not serve it, but when Trump's out of office, murder is murder. Okay, and so it maybe just a matter of time, and I'm hoping that they will pursue that, because the state don't. I mean, the federal government don't control murder charges. They don't have that. They don't have a murder statute, a federal statute for murder, and but that's a state charge. So I'm hoping they'll pursue that avenue.
I was going to bring up that same thing because I've looked at the speeches from the governor, the state attorney, the mayor, and they've been really asking the community to not let this event trigger them. That's what ICE wants. You know, they want everything to remain peaceful, but it's like, what are y'all doing to protect the communities of which you are serving? Like, at a certain point, this is going to get violent. And so if the state is not using the law enforcement resources that it has to protect and serve the citizens from literal federal agents, like the people who need protection right now are the citizens from ICE. Right. And so why isn't the governor, why isn't the mayor using the local law enforcement officers to say, y'all got to get off our streets or we gonna arrest y'all?
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna have to come to that. Otherwise, if you're just telling people, don't do anything, don't let them agitate you, that's what they want, you have to come with a plan of what you're going to do to protect your citizens if you don't want them to react in the ways in which you fear they could possibly react. And all I'm hearing is, don't do nothing. We not gonna do nothing, y'all not gonna do nothing. We just gonna all sit here and hold candlelight visuals for this woman that got shot in the face 3 times at point blank range, and we gonna have hashtag Renee Good and add her to the list. May she rest in peace, and let's just keep it moving, and let's lie about it on TV.
But from a citizen point of view, the only thing that they can do is protest, right? And so maybe they have a point. You know, don't do anything to jeopardize maybe what they can do, you know, legally from a statewide point of view, or distract from what they're going to do. I don't know. I think Governor Walz and the mayor and the chief of police, I think they're all on the same sheet of music. I think they're just trying to figure out a strategy in order to try to make something happen in this case. So
they can just arrest him.
Yeah,
they can arrest him.
Well, don't they have to have a grand jury indictment or something like that?
No, not to make an arrest.
No, you're right.
That's
they can arrest.
I do agree with you on that. 72 hours. They can arrest you whenever they want to.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that. They should have arrested him and see what would happen.
So don't the federal government supersede the local government? And that, I'm almost sure that's the case, and that may be the reason they haven't arrested him yet. Or they should. I mean, I would have had him arrested regardless, and the federal government would have had to come get him out of my jail. But he should have been arrested. But that the federal government also supersedes state law. So that's the only thing about it. And I don't know whether that's the case in murder or not, though, because it definitely was murder. We all saw it. But you got J.D. Vance and the Homeland Security person and Trump and all of them and all these other people all over TV this morning trying to explain away the lie that they were trying to tell. And everybody saw it. And Kristi Noem was saying, you know, that she turned her car into a weapon and she was a domestic terrorist and all of that craziness. And Jake Tapper asked, you know, that's not what we saw. That's exactly what happened. He said, what you said did not happen that way. She said it happened exactly that way. I mean, but that show you how no carers, they do not care. They want something to trigger the people in this country because they want to they want to do the
Martial law.
insurrection. Yeah, they want to do the
So is
insurrection
it,
for a
but
state
is
of.
it our understanding that say you have a federal ICE agent who commits a crime, we all are saying that we believe he committed the crime of murder on camera, but say he was smoking crack, which is also illegal in Minnesota. If he got caught smoking crack and was arrested for that crime, are you trying to say that Cash Patel from the FBI can say that's our agent, we know he was smoking crack, but we can come get him out because the feds supersede local, and he can just go and be a crackhead ICE agent? Is that what we saying?
They
Yeah.
got a law called the supremacy law or something like that. Okay, that whereas if an agent in the capacity of duties, a local law enforcement cannot arrest them if they was acting in performance of their duty. But it's some kind of clause. I think it called the supremacy clause, something like that. I don't remember what it is, but there's some kind of law that protects them, give them some immunity from that if they was acting in the scope of their duty. Now, the question you were saying about if they were smoking crack, that's a whole different ball game. Okay, but since quote they supposed to have been acting in the capacity of their duties as ICE agent, maybe that is the reason. It got to be, I guess folks smarter than me probably know that, and the reason no arrest has been made, something like that. I'm sure that something preventing them from doing that.
Well, I just think that this moment is going to require us to think outside of the bounds of what we may consider to be legal. Because that's what we see that this administration does. They're like, okay, we just going to do it and then sue us. And then if you win, we're going to appeal it. And then we'll take it to the state Supreme Court. And if we lose, let's take it to the Supreme Court. We just gonna keep going and keep going. We're gonna test the bounds of the law. And so I think that we should this is a moment where we should be testing the bounds of the law. Let's just put this immunity. Let's just put it up to the courts. And hell, we may lose. And when we lose, we gonna appeal it. And we're going, if anything, just to keep this man within the legal system, even if it works all the way up to the Supreme Court. We just need to be able to demonstrate that if you do this, we will keep you in litigation. Do you want to be in litigation for 3 years of your life dealing with what you thought you were immune to do? And maybe in the end you will win. But that's a lot of legal fees to get a victory, to shoot somebody in the face. Maybe somebody will think twice before they shoot somebody in the face if it's going to cost them $3 million and work their way all the way up to the Supreme Court. I just think we need to be testing the judicial system in these moments and not just be like, well, he got immunity. What can we do?
Yeah. BJ, I agree with you wholeheartedly because we're not fighting fire with fire. I don't know why we're not fighting fire with fire. We ought to be doing the same thing they're doing, but we're not. Jerry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was going to say he should have been arrested. Ain't no doubt about it. He should have been arrested in Minnesota. And, if the Fed, and you're right about the supremacy law. If, the thing about it, they should have arrested him and made them use the law to get him out of jail.
Right.
Because this is going to lead to something more violent. It's going to lead to a revolution in this country. And many of those, terrorists that's running around the country now, these Trump terrorists, are going to pay a price for what they are doing. And now they're talking about they're going to go door to door. For what? ICE agents are supposed to be protecting the border. They're not even supposed to be in the city, stopping people, stopping cars and all that. When did they supersede state police and local police? So these people should not even be nowhere near a city. That's why you have local police, you got the FBI and others who you got state agencies that can arrest people. But these terrorists should not be on the streets of America at all, because they are the real terrorists, not the woman that was trying to get away from the terrorists, and was shot 3 times. And she, with good reason, she was trying to get away, because if he proved the point that, if you don't try to get away, they're going to kill you. If you're trying to get away, they're going to kill you.
Hey, Jerry, I bet you, the truth be known, if you look at the makeup ICE, I don't have facts to support what I'm saying. So neither do Trump when he speaks. So I'm speaking as well. But I bet you, if in fact they did some studies, I bet you ICE is made up of militia members and January 6th folks that went to jail.
Insurrection,
the insurrectionists and militia, and these militia groups that Trump said to stand back and stand by.
Proud Boy, Nazis,
right? Exactly.
Klan members, they're all in there. That's why he got those individuals, because they like brutalizing people. The Klan's been a terrorist organization in this country for 100 years or so.
Yeah.
And nobody declared them a terrorist organization except us, but they are a terrorist organization, along with the terrorists, that they are working with now. But the thing about it, they are trying to provoke a war in this country so that Trump can introduce the insurrection law, so that they can declare a state of emergency and not have any elections in the coming year.
Right. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that, Jerry. I think that they're trying to provoke something so he can call martial law, and that he don't have to have election in 2026, because he knows that in 2026 he may be in trouble. Okay. And so in you can better believe something up their sleeve to not to have election in 2026.
Yeah, and that's the goal. And just like, when we were talking about Project 2025, Venezuela on page 184, they were talking about Venezuela then, before they invaded Venezuela. But that's on page 184.
Venezuela was in Project 2025.
Yeah.
Oh, they covered everything. Good God.
Yeah. All this stuff that they're doing now is what was part of the Monroe Doctrine. And Trump now is supposed to be Trump doctrine. Everybody in this hemisphere is supposed to be under the colonial madness that they feel that everybody should, all the resources in this hemisphere should belong to the United States, rather than the people and us buying it from them. The people that has the resources, we don't want to buy it from. We want to take it, like we took this country, and like we've taken people from Africa and other places around the world. These thieves are continuing their processes of taking other people's stuff, and then try to make them, and then you go and kidnap another president and say he's the one that's corrupt, when we're under the most corrupt regime in the history of the world. And that's the Trump administration and all his minions. So, it's really strange that they have the nerve and the mitigating gall to say, these people are corrupt, so we have to go in and take over their country. Now you're talking about going into Mexico and Cuba.
I just wanted to go in because Mr. Vernon asked, so I wanted to look it up. This is my time to use ChatGPT while we're on, because you mentioned about the grand jury. And I questioned, I was like, I know all states don't use the grand jury system, so I wasn't sure if Minnesota was one of them. But it does say that Minnesota does use grand juries, but only for specific serious crimes, especially first-degree murder. And its rules are tightly defined in Minnesota Court Rule 18. Must have 16 to 23 members. It does, I'm sorry, it says, what did I say? They are convened when it's required by public interest or requested by the county attorney, most commonly for first-degree murder cases. Sometimes for police-involved shootings or politically sensitive cases where secrecy is preferred. Minnesota prosecutors can charge most felonies by complaint without a grand jury.
Okay.
So they should compile that grand jury right now then, because that was absolute murder.
Right.
know.
But if you look up the because Vernon, you're right, there's the supremacy. I did what Derek did, but I did it on the other side. So this is not Jill's knowledge, this is ChatGPT's knowledge, but they can't go any further until the federal investigation is completed. DOJ Civil Rights Division has done their review. The supremacy clause and immunity analysis has gone through, which means they cannot arrest a federal agent until all of that happens, no matter what, even in the act of murder. And then they have to make a decision to charge or decline. And then after they do that, they can always do the civil lawsuit and then they can proceed forward. So it's in this long process before they can ever put handcuffs on that man.
Well, Jill, my thing is, they say they can't. What would stop them from arresting him? Arrest the bastard and see what happens afterwards. Okay,
Right.
I mean, everybody trying to follow the rules. Trump is not following the rules. They would have did the same thing. They would have arrested somebody had it been in the reverse, whether it was right or wrong. So I'm for following the rules, but only to the extent that when everybody else is following the rules. Okay, and I sometimes think we have to push the envelope, just push these boundaries. They should have arrested his ass there on the spot. And even if he didn't do nothing, just like what Trump they're doing, sometimes they do things just for the appearance of doing it, even though they know they don't have any legal grounds on it. They should have just arrested his ass. If they had to turn him loose when they got down to the station or pulled him out the car, who's there to say to an officer he can't be arrested? I know they were saying that, but who would stop him?
I agree.
Well, so my question would be, what happens? I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm torn because I agree, but I don't agree. I think that they would have been.
That you don't agree about it?
I don't. I think that if we would have arrested him and he would have got there and they would have said, "You're free," the world would have blew up right then. They'd have been like, "What?" And it just would have been the same thing it is right now, because you can't. The process would have been the FBI agents, the federal government would have came in just like they really do on TV. The little bits of TV that are true, they come in, they release them. You don't have a choice, and they literally walk free until they go through their process. That is what it is. I guess I'm just thinking, if this was me, that would piss me off even more, because you had him and you let him go.
Well, I would get him,
but that's me
basic grounds
being emotional. I'm not saying, I don't know what that would do if it would have made people do more. I mean, Jerry showed yesterday, he was showing me at the event, he showed me where everybody was protesting across the United States, and big, like huge. Would they have stayed nonviolent if they just saw that they arrested him and let him go? I don't know. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I agree. He should be arrested. Absolutely. But I imagine that I'm going to make it something that we care about, but not people, because I don't want nobody to die. If it's something you really care about and they arrest somebody and then let them go, doesn't that piss you off even more? Like, you ain't doing darn, not for me. That's not going to help me. You're not making me feel better, and I ain't trying to make you feel better, because I just lost my whoever. And to make the United States people feel better, you put handcuffs on them and then you let them go.
Okay, Jill, let me give you another analogy. Okay, since we only invoke people in here, okay, and it's supposed and it is a law for somebody to kill your puppy, right? And somebody kills your puppy. Now, just because he had the right to kill him, the police officer, I got a right to kill him when he was barking at me, so I shot him dead. But everybody with their own eyes saw it was just cold-blooded murder of your puppy. You would rather for him to walk, or would you rather for him to get arrested and then walk? To me, I would want his ass at least taken into custody. If they have to let him go for legal reason, so be it. But for him to walk away after killing my puppy, that's not gonna bear well with me. I don't think. I don't know.
You'd feel better when he got 20 minutes down the road and they let him go. You'd be like, well, at least they arrested him. I feel
at least
so
he
much
got
better.
20.
Sorry
He
about
got
that, puppy
20
dog.
minutes attention. Will have 20 minutes of attention than have zero. That's my thinking.
But I think what I would see is that what you would be demonstrating is that the local law enforcement is supporting the community and not supporting the institution and the establishment and the system, but they are supporting the community. Now, maybe if he were arrested, then even if Kash Patel from the FBI had to come down and get him released himself, which would be possible, which I wouldn't put it past them.
He got to figure out which way to go.
Right. At least the people who live there locally, who will still be there long after this story is no longer in the headlines, at least they know that the local justice system had their backs.
Right.
And I think that would go a long way moving forward and for future cases and for future incidences, which we know will happen. I think that would give a little bit more gravitas and trust of the local law enforcement. I don't think you can go wrong. Hell, I agree. Based on what you read, and I don't doubt that any of that is true, he probably would get released. But I would say, come make me release him.
Exactly.
Come make me do it.
That's my position.
On top of that, it was 2 other people shot the next day, and I can't think of what city it was in. I don't know if it was
Portland.
Portland. Yeah, Portland. Yeah.
They're trying to make those out as gang members.
Gang related. Now these people in a car doing the same thing, trying to get away from them. They shoot up the car, shoot them. Because all the cars now. Your car is a weapon if you're trying to get away from a terrorist. But you damn if you do and damn if you don't.
I don't understand any justification. You're gonna step in front of a damn car, okay, and then not expect to get hit if you step in front of it. I can understand that the car swerved towards you. That's a whole different story. You stepping in front of a vehicle, okay, and causing the issue to happen. It just doesn't ring. It just doesn't ring with me. I don't understand it. And her wheel was cut away from him. He stepped in front of that vehicle to do that. And he must be a damn idiot because he had just, a couple months before did the same thing, got drugged down the street.
So to me, what would make you ever do that and that was automatic for him. So you just got, like you said, 6 months before, same type of situation, he gets drugged down the street. So why would you go anywhere near the car?
Right. Knowing you might get drugged.
Because that just automatic. That's PTSD. You just got, that's just automatic. And they're trying to use that as the excuse as to why it's okay. No, they should have kept him off the street. If that's his problem, he shouldn't have been back on the street. Desk job.
Right.
You're traumatized.
And then they are saying that they gave them $100 million more to terrorize the American people. And the media not covering the huge protests like it should be covered because they are part of it too. They are part of these right wings that own the media now is the one telling people, telling the media conglomerate, don't cover all this stuff, cover what we want you to cover. But it's being covered, on social media a lot, but not enough. Because it's not reaching enough people. But the thing about it, somebody has got to say something, I guess, I've been talking, we talked about this other day, Vern, on your morning show. It seems like the Democrats are not screaming loud enough to me. The ones like Hakeem Jeffries and others, usually used to see Bernie Sanders. I haven't seen him out there. I haven't seen Chuck Schumer out there. He get up there and say a few words, then he go back and hide. So I'm like, why are you not on every Sunday morning show? Why you don't have your surrogates on to counter what the narrative that they are putting out there to destroy this woman and her reputation after you done murdered her? But something that we have been done to black people for centuries. He was doing drugs. She had some alcohol. He launched toward me something crazy to kill someone, and this is where we at now, and it's unfortunate.
Jerry, that there's no consciousness about it. That's the thing that bothers me. Nobody has any conscience about it. They're killing it, act like they got a right to do that, and it is infuriating to me when that happened. But I want to know. I thought Congress controlled the purse strings. Well, okay, maybe they do, but Trump got Congress in his back pocket, because if you pull the monies, they always say follow the money. If you pull the money, okay, nothing's gonna happen. But apparently nothing. They can slash ISIS budget or not anything. They just don't appropriate the damn money to support this regime.
But the Republicans are in charge, and they put those funded. They had already funded this with that big nasty bill that they passed a while back. So the funds has already been allocated for that. But it seems to me, as long as the Republicans are in charge, and Johnson is the Speaker of the House,
the squeaker,
that sorry piece of crap is not going to say or do anything except whatever Trump want him to do. And the sad part about it, there's only a few of them will go against Trump because they are so afraid of a lame duck, rotten brain person that's has dementia and everything else, but they still afraid of this whatever he is, because he definitely not have no humanity. So, and if you don't have no humanity, you lost all human form. You just a human look like, but he's definitely not human.
And while the Republicans certainly have control of the three branches of government, and I include the Supreme Court in that, even if the Democrats take control of Congress, I mean, Derek, unless you know of anybody else, I could tell you not all of the Democrats ain't even behind cutting the purse strings of ICE. So even if we do take control of the House and maybe the Senate, we don't even have all Democrats on board with moving forward with cutting the purse strings on ICE. So I don't see that changing, even if we get a Democratic House. I'm just being honest. I don't see it changing. Because we still got these strong law enforcement, Democrats as well, and we ain't gonna get no Republicans. So it will take the coalition of every Democrat to be on board, and every Democrat is not on board with that.
You're right. I was just trying to pull this thing because I pulled it off the line the other day, and you brought it up, so I wanted to show it. It gave this. It was put by somebody on the deep who was affiliated. Oh, it's No Dem Left Behind, and I just wanted to show it because I thought it was interesting. And we talk about them not being on board with ICE. This came up and it showed the list of 75, quotes, Democrats expressed gratitude to ICE in 2025, and I looked at the list just to see how many of our Democratic leaders from the state of Florida are on there, and it was interesting because you see Lois Frankel from South Florida is on. Sheila Phyllis McCormick is on. That's 2. Jared Moskowitz makes 3. Debbie Wasserman Schultz makes 4. Darren Soto makes 5. And Frederica Wilson makes 6. 6 of our 8.
Half of those folks are black. Damn.
Well, 2, yes.
You got Frederica
Wilson and Sheila Sherford
Debbie Washington Schultz. Isn't she black?
No, she Jewish.
Deborah Washington Schultz. Absolutely.
Sheila McCormick is black. The only one who surprises me on that list is Frederica Wilson.
What
did they say specifically? Express gratitude to ICE in 2025 about what?
I don't know what it means. I'd have to get more into it, but this is the post.
I would need to know what that meant.
This is the post.
But you're right, BJ, but I still would want to see what that meant.
Darren Soto doesn't surprise you, BJ?
Huh?
Darren Soto didn't surprise you?
Not at all.
But to have gratitude for ICE for what? For harassing starting off harassing the Hispanic people and
I guess I don't know. I would wonder why you would express gratitude. Just even
to them,
if you wanted to know what the context was, what would be a rationale that you would be expressing gratitude to ICE in
this moment.
Like in any form, like in the year of 2025, where chaos has reigned, why would you be expressing gratitude? And what, in any context? Like I can't imagine a context that would warrant you to say thank you or we're thankful for you or your service in this climate in 2025. And I'm certainly surprised at Sheila Phyllis McCormick, because ma'am, you're from IET. So I know you should know better because they rounded y'all up quick, fast, in a hurry. So
who put that up there?
Huh?
Where'd that come from?
No Dems left behind.
Who are they?
I don't know.
I was gonna say I would have to see, and I probably am. I'm like BJ. I'm probably okay with almost everybody till you get to Frederica Wilson. That to me says BS. That somebody created that on purpose so that we would go in there and be like, oh, because what purpose? And she's the one who told them to go tour. She pushed for them to tour it. She pushed for them to close it down. I just don't see it. I need to see it in writing where she actually said, I have gratitude. And it wasn't something like I fell and hit my head and they called 911 for me.
So
and I have gratitude for you making a phone call. That's different.
So just so it says, it's a pact dedicated to rebuilding the left and driving progressive populism for us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means.
That means I want to confuse you and make you think.
I don't know who us is, but
yeah.
What for? So it doesn't even make sense. A pact dedicated to rebuilding the left and driving progressive populism forward us. I don't know what that means. But that's what it says.
Well, but what we do know is that there's certainly not a majority of elected Democrats. Am I frozen?
No.
Oh, there certainly aren't a number of there aren't a majority of elected Democrats. I'm not saying registered Democrats, but electeds who are on board with pulling the purse strings on ICE. So I don't see it happening even if we get control. So we gonna have to put in. It's gonna take us putting pressure on them in order to have anything like that happen. Because I can tell you, these people are not gonna show up to work if they ain't got a check. Because at the end of the day, people got to pay their bills. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna take pulling their money in order to get them to stop. We're not gonna be able to solve this on a moral grounds. These people have no morality. We're not gonna be able to solve this on an intellectual, ethical grounds. We're not gonna be able to have civil conversations. We're gonna have to pull a bag.
Mm-hmm. True. Go ahead, Derek.
No, I didn't have anything. I just said pull it. And he said pull a bag. I said pull it. That's it.
But it seems to me if they breaking state law, Trump then broke the law by going over and kidnapping a president and his wife. I mean, how much more law can, these lawbreakers, but telling, the real terrorists terrorizing other people's country, terrorizing Venezuelan people, bombing and killing people. in in the dead of night, and then call somebody else corrupt and fraud and all of that when we know who he is. We know what he is. We know that he's a fraud. We know that he done violated the Emoluments Clause. We know that he's just sucking the American people coffers dry, for his sons and his own pockets. He done made billions of dollars just in the last year, you know, setting up all kinds of stuff for him and his family for generations to come. But the American people are suffering, cutting health care and everything else. Now they're cutting in Minnesota, talking about because of fraud, they cutting food stamps and SNAP programs there. So children will suffer but Mississippi and Alabama had fraud cases. Mississippi had to pay back $100 million in fraud, but they didn't cut their SNAP program. They haven't cut their food stamp program, haven't cut any of that. But these are Democrat states where Trump and them doing this. And I think every time this happens, they need to be either in court or cut the funds that use the taxpayers' money from that state to replace it rather than send it to DC to them for them to rip off the country in the first place. That's what should be done as far as I'm concerned, because these people are violating the law every day and care nothing about violating the law.
True. So true, Jerry.
Man, it's amazing that.
Now, is it true that this woman is not the first person to be shot by ICE throughout all of these raids?
Yeah, it's 80 other people been shot by ICE.
So what was it about this case that was so? Because I had not even heard that she was not the first person until it happened to her, and then I had seen reporting that there had been previous people. So what was it about this case that made it so different than the other people who were killed? Was it because she was a white woman?
She was a white woman.
Number one, she's probably a white woman. But those other cases, they vilified them, make them trying to tell everybody the crook didn't have cameras. This case, you had eyes rolling live, that they could see. The other cases wasn't as clear as this case here. This is her George Floyd moment kind of a case. That's the only reason it garners more attention than it did that those other cases, in my opinion.
What has been caught on camera are the brutality in which they were doing, dragging women across on the asphalt, brutally beating women and other people, just anybody that they can brutalize. They've been doing it, but they messed around and messed up when they shot that white woman in the face 3 times. And I think it should be an Emmett Till moment. I know they probably won't do it, but have that cast go show how they blowed her face off.
Jerry, I had the same thought, same sentiment. I think it is time for an Emmett Till minute, okay? Because folks don't realize, and maybe out on her brilliance, that she wanted the world to see what they did to her baby. And because the reason that they haven't done anything about gun violence, and when they're shooting little kids in school, they don't want to show the results of it, okay? You can see what the high-powered rifle can do to a person's face and so forth. If they were to show some of those images, I believe it would make a difference into the mentality of the American people. What you don't see, you don't know, okay? You just don't know. And not until Mamie had that open viewing casket, and not until Jet Magazine was the only publication that showed the Emmett Till picture, sent shockwaves around the world, okay? Sent shockwaves around the world. And this is what we need to do again, is have an Emmett Till moment. And maybe that would shock the consciousness of some of these, as Dr. King said, some of these do-good people that don't do nothing.
So
to get what we were saying, every time we kept saying Mamie, I keep thinking, why is he talking about Mamie Hicks? But you're not talking about Mamie Hicks. I'm telling you, you're talking about
Did I say Hickson?
maybe
Did I say
no, you keep saying
Mamie Till?
Mamie, and
Did I
that's
say
where
Mamie
my
Hickson?
mind went.
Oh,
No,
okay.
that's where my mind.
Oh,
I
you
was
so
like,
young, you probably don't know who Mamie Till is.
No, I do.
Thinking it's Mamie
It
Hickson.
took me a minute to realize who you were talking about. But in present, the only person I think about when I think of Mamie is Mamie Hicks. So I was like, why are you talking about Mamie Hicks? What does she have to do with it? But I get it.
yeah, and there should be a moment like that because I think you're right, Bert. I think it would shock the conscience of the nation again because it has to be. It has to be something done when you can blow little children apart and they only can identify them by DNA, and that's what happened out there.
In Uvalde and those different places, yeah.
Yeah, all these different places where the body was so pulverized that they couldn't even identify.
Identify them, right.
They had to use DNA to identify the children. So I think that even when that was during the time when President Obama was president, I think it should have been an Emmett Till moment and a lot, showing those babies being blown up like that so that it would shock the conscience back to reality, the country and the conscience back of this country back to reality. Because it's nothing going to be done unless that happens, and and it has somebody got to make a decision to help bring the country back to where it somewhat should be. I mean, we don't want normal as it was, but at least have some kind of normality that's better than what's going on now.
Yeah.
Can you talk about, because I just wanted to briefly bring about, because you started you mentioned the country that has been the topic of conversation for a couple weeks, and that's Venezuela. And in that, we talked about to me, in my opinion, the unlawful capture, but that's just my opinion of the Venezuelan president. They keep talking about the all of the fentanyl and cocaine and all that other stuff that comes out of Venezuela. But the first thing they did is they went and captured and seized them 2 oil vessels coming out of Venezuela. They got their oil. So I guess when you start looking at it, like I guess what I wonder is how much more do people need to see to get to come to the realization or understanding that you're being lied to. They don't care nothing about no narco terrorism. But if they were like, let's just say hypothetically, if I was concerned about drugs in Venezuela, the drugs that were coming out of Venezuela, right? In my mind, since I would captured your president, I would go into your country and raid suspected drug houses or drug operations. I'm not saying that you could do that. I'm just saying if I were in my mind, that would be the next logical step.
And what would give you the right to do that?
I'm not. None of it's legal, in my opinion. I'm not saying you get the right to do it, but I'm just saying if that were my train of thought, if I was so concerned about the drugs, then I want to cut off the flow of drugs. Hell, you started with you already crossed the line of legality when you captured the man president. What difference does it make is one more action? You're down the road already. So, you're here. Like, if you're gonna do it all. Like, to me, it's like robbing a bank for $50. Like, if you're gonna rob the bank for $500,000. Rob the bank for $1 million. Don't rob the bank for $5. Like that's kind of corny in my opinion. You already went down the line of illegality, so I'll do what you got to do.
But the problem is, Derek, it never was about drugs. Okay,
well, I said
that was a false flag. It's all about that oil and destabling the dollars, keeping the dollars as the main currency of the world and stuff like that. So
I get it. I agree wholeheartedly. That's my point. My point was, you can tell that it's not, because they've done nothing but about drugs or the flow of drugs. But what they have done is seize the two ships that that were carrying Venezuelan oil in the Caribbean. They seized those just this past week. That's what they've done. So, and last I checked, they didn't check the oil tankers for drugs. And then they said, we're going to dictate. I'm just saying they didn't, right? Like it didn't happen. They didn't. That's not what it is. And now he's come out with this saying that told them people that you're all Venezuela. He announced that part of that deal that says that Venezuela will provide 50 million barrels of oil to the United States. Yeah. What that got to do with fentanyl? What that got to do with cocaine?
Yeah, you notice they didn't drop in the. Hey, you know they didn't drop in the bones on the oil tanker, but they dropped them on them little drill boats.
Them little boats, right? Right.
So, Derek, I want to go back to your first question, which is how much more do they have to see? I'm going to go back to where I'm always at. That's usually a Christina statement. Like, why are we asking the same crazy question? If you are waiting for somebody to say that's it, I guess that's when they blow up the U.S. because that would probably be it. Think about how many things have happened, and it's all videotaped. We no longer on this show need to never say ever again. When are they going to see? Why can't they see it? Why won't they see it? Because they choose not to.
Yeah.
Some people are okay. They're actually happy with what that man did. He went over there, took the presidents, and they are cheering and they are happy. It is going to impact the 2026 election. Absolutely. But they don't care whether it was drugs or it was oil. It can't get clearer. I don't think at this point that we could go to Project 2025 and say, read it right here. It's on page 174 to 174. And it could tell them he's going to do this and he really doesn't want drugs. And it wouldn't matter. You have to know, and we'll get back off of the shooting. They saw it. It's no different than George Floyd. They saw it.
Mm-hmm.
There was no question of what happened. The country had outcry, but why are we still here? We're still here.
Going back to that again, I'm surprised.
Are you?
No, I am because it's a white woman. I absolutely am. I thought they would have been laid out on the floor. They got mad. Them people was fighting and carrying on, and we protested when Jimmy Kimmel got taken off the air.
Protested.
They got protested. They said we ain't doing that. We not doing any of that stuff.
Did you not see all of the protests that took place yesterday while we were at Judy Mounts thing? There were protests all across the country. There was, only because Jerry was next to me showing, like, do you see all these protests?
Well, but another factor in Renee's Goods case, now she was married to a woman. And that might be a factor in some of these crazy ass people's minds, okay? Because just that incident that separated her from a normal white woman.
But I still think,
just thinking out loud.
I still think in the order of white supremacy for them folks, whiteness supersedes everything.
True. But whiteness has the bottom, when it gets down to all white, and then what? Then they separate them because of their beliefs, or because they're gay, or because a white gay is in white people's eyes is less than a heterosexual gay. I mean, a heterosexual person. You know what I'm saying? It's a pecking order. In bigotry.
But also, if you read The Handmaid's Tale, which is a fiction, but the author always, when she's interviewed, she says, "I wrote a book. It was a made-up story in my head, but every thing that I used was things that have happened in history." So she didn't make up the horrible things that she wrote about. She's like, I used things that happened in history. So even in The Handmaid's Tale, the white women are held at a certain stature until they're not. And then when you're not, you can lose fingers when you learn how to read. You can get an eye poked out, or you can have your tongue cut off if you speak ill to your husband. So all of those things that happened in that book were things that, had been demonstrated throughout history that happened to women. So white women are they are sacrificed at a certain point.
Right.
Even them. We just wish that they would know that.
Yeah, that's why so many of them voted for Trump again. And again. So it's really crazy. But they are losing their rights because before the civil rights movement, they had no right, really had no rights either. They couldn't own property and credit cards and all that. They could once their husband or somebody left it to them or somebody co-signed for them to get it. But before that, you know, it's been the same. It's been the same. They've had issues too, but
Yeah.
that white
Affirmative action was one of their very best friends, Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
They benefited from the civil rights movement far more than what the civil rights movement intended for folks to benefit from.
Yeah, they did, and it's continuing that. It's continued that way, but they didn't ever think that the thing that was happening to us and happening to Black women would be happening to them. And I'm not, saying it. We don't want anything to happen to anybody like that. But by the same token, they voted to put themselves in this condition and under these restricted laws and body autonomy that they don't have anymore. Their children got less body autonomy and less rights than they had, but they kept voting for this person, even though we've been trying to tell them about Project 2025 for years now. But they just didn't think it would be implemented, I guess. And some of them was hoping it would be, and it is now. And I think around 51% of it has been implemented already. And they are not terroring. This has only been a year, and they have
Jerry,
they have terrorized the whole country with Project 2025 and the adults. I mean, the elderly and the children of this country. They are terrorizing.
Well, white women is also under that same illusion of inclusion, okay? Because they're white and because of white privileges, they just assume certain things. They didn't think about it when it gets down to the common denominator. They too they are in the same boat. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
And white gays, you can put white gays in that too.
Exactly.
Not white gays, Gaze, white gays, Gays.
Yeah, you get that right.
But and I'm going to pose a question, and I want the people watching at home not to think that I'm posing this question as a means of victim blaming, because I'm not. But I'm wondering if what happened to her is a reflection of a failure of the civil rights movement in terms of passing on how to do this properly. Because when I just think of my family members who were freedom riders, before they went out on the streets, there were months and months of training in order to get you disciplined to be able to face the state in an opposing fashion. I sort of feel like now things are more organic, which I guess is, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with organic demonstrations, but organic demonstrations are less disciplined. And I would even venture to say less effective. They're good for the moment. They're great for social media. They make good clips and reels. But what are they accomplishing? And so I'm just wondering if what happened to her was also not only a failure of the system, but a failure of the resistance.
Yeah, that's
too deep. I'm sorry.
I know what you're saying. For anybody to lose their life in situations like that, and it's crying shame, whether they white or black or whatever. I mean, she didn't deserve that. Okay, she didn't see it coming. I know she never thought. If you saw those videos looking at her, she was just happy and rejoiceful and everything, and just to drive away for 1 minute and lose your life in the process, in a split second, and another is just horrendous. I just, and I back up what I say. If white women is not safe in this country, we all better get put on notice, okay? We
We all
all
better
better put
arm
on notice.
ourselves we all better arm ourselves to the teeth.
On our Facebook thread, uh, excuse me, Miss Lois Bless Pruitt said that that's so true, Jerry. And Armando Grundy Gomez said BJ got jokes.
Oh, it's probably the white gays.
So, anyway, regards. Can we talk briefly about, because I want to circle back that we have a few minutes, like in the last 15 minutes or so, to talk about what happened yesterday.
Hold on a minute, Derek. We got somebody on the phone. I hope we can hear him. Go ahead, Brother Heiss. Can y'all hear? I can hear you. Can y'all hear? Oh, they can't hear you.
We can barely hear him.
Not picking up on us. Okay. Go ahead.
Now,
All right then.
okay, hey Jerry, I got a couple comments I got on my Facebook page. One from Rose Shelley Williams saying the feds and DOJ will prolong their investigation just like they're doing with the Epstein file. Linda, I guess it's Linda Sunshine Moore, commented that the supremacy clause is used in Article 6, Clause 2 of the United States Constitution. It establishes, what did she go on here? It says establishes the U.S. Constitution, federal laws and treaties, and Basically, what this means is that federal law overrides state law when there is a conflict. Judges in every state must follow the U.S. Constitution, even if state law says otherwise. And Ms. Ivy LaFay says, love some Jake Tapper. He called him out. Yeah, and I agree with you, Ivy. I listened to that interview with Jake Tapper. I was quite surprised that he was as forceful with her because CNN has been bought out, if you ask me, because they have changed a lot. But at least he was pretty direct with Miss Dog Killer today, and but none of them pushed back on Trump in the same fashion. Having said that, okay, I'm finished with my little comments.
I just want to say that was the eye roll across America. BJ, what do you not like Jake Tapper?
I don't like him for what he did to Biden. I don't like him. Ever since what he did to Biden, I don't like him.
Oh, okay.
At least he pushed back a little bit.
He did just a little bit.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about just briefly? Again, I want to leave the last 15 minutes to give Jill her opportunity because she's right here at the top of the show to talk about what's happening in Okaloosa County, and also what we got a chance to do yesterday. But I wanted to talk about Greenland and what the fascination is with Greenland. What are you guys' thoughts?
Resources, just like they
want minerals.
Resources. That's the only reason that he want Greenland, and want to put his golf courses there. That's the only reason. But other than that, they don't care nothing about. They don't care nothing about the people of Greenland. He just want the opportunity to take those resources. And they don't even care anything about NATO, which been our allies. NATO been the allies of America for forever and a day since the 40s. But now all of a sudden, so the Greenland is under the protection of Denmark, isn't it?
Yeah, their territories.
Denmark territory.
Denmark. But I don't understand. It's more to that Greenland thing that is being said right now. Greenland, the United States made an agreement with Greenland a long time ago. They can put any air base. They can do. They got carte blanche to do what they want in Greenland. But Trump wants to. He's saying it's in there for national security reasons. That couldn't be true, because if that were the case, they would put in the base. In fact, they just put up a U.S. Space Force base there. I think it's a Space Force base that they put over in Greenland. So it's more about those rare minerals, rare earth minerals that's sitting up under Greenland as well. So it's just a lot more to that than they said. In Denmark and Norway, I guess way back, the Norwegians used to own Greenland. Then Greenland was passed on to Denmark way back sometime then, and then they start recognizing that their own territory. Now the United States trying to recognize it as their territory. So we'll see what happens. Okay.
Right. And because Greenland basically extends into the Arctic Circle, they're trying to use the excuse of because they always say if Russia ever attacked us, they wouldn't come around the globe, they would go over the top. And so they don't, and so Stephen Miller even said it. I mean, he said it openly. He didn't feel as though Denmark had the military capacity to defend against an attack from Russia, and they should not be entitled to that much land that extends into the Arctic, with Russia being the superpower that it is, that the United States need to take over Greenland in order to be as just another deterrent from any, just to capture the Western Hemisphere. So it's all imperialism. But we all know what it's about. It's about the minerals. It's about the extraction of the resources, so that and have the people there not be able to benefit from it. Hell, at least it's a Europe. So we know if they'll do it to white folk in Greenland, we know they're not above doing it to anywhere else, because now they're going after them people. So,
but people don't understand that because of global warming and how that ice is melting up there. Okay. And so it's going to be a lot more practical in years to come to mine all those resources there in Greenland. So they're thinking strategically, and they're thinking years ahead of themselves, and they think that it's going to be an important to the U.S. So it's not about what y'all think it's about. Okay.
So you saying that's why they don't want us? You said that's why they don't want us to talk about global warming, so it can so it can continue to warm. Melt of polar ice caps.
Exactly, because they want to take advantage of it. Yeah.
But here's what I will tell you: a lot of other empires think of the future in centuries. We think of the next election cycle. China's like, we a 5,000-year-old empire. What we doing today, we focusing on what it's going to be like in the year 2400, because we 5,000 years old, and in the year 2400 ain't but a blip in our history, in their history. But for America, we like, what we gonna do in 2026? Oh, 2028, what we gonna do? Instead of saying what we want this country to look like in 2128.
Exactly. Yeah, they got strategic thinking in that. Okay.
And China is building a future for China for generations and generations to come. But their investment is into the people of China, for transportation, all kinds of things, the homes, housing, and they are spreading their wings all over the world to advance their society. They're in Africa. I'm in some places. I'm afraid that they are going to colonize parts of Africa because they're there, and the corrupt leadership is allowing it to happen. In some parts where people can't even go certain places because the Chinese own that part of the property. How do you let that happen? That your people, I guess it's like in the islands down there. The people that live there can't go to the beaches in a lot of those places, unless you're a tourist. So I guess that's the way it is. But it's amazing to me that there's nobody working for the good of the American people. And it seemed like it's too many. For one thing, it's too many cowards in legislation that do. That it's out of control for as I'm concerned. Derek, you were get back to you.
No, anybody else have anything? I thought I heard somebody else want to say something.
I mean, I was just going to say China is already all up on the continent. I mean, they basically, the continent has subcontracted their entire infrastructure to China. Over 50% of the roads in on the continent have been built by Chinese labor and Chinese developers. So they are all up in there.
That's why I like this. What's happening in Mali and Burkina Faso, Niger, and other places where they kick the colonizers out, and they're doing it themselves. The people that live there are doing the work. They are building the roads. They are building the housing. They're using their engineers to extract all that to use to build for their resource. They're doing their own gold. They are selling their uranium for a decent price for the people that live in their area. Even though they tried to kill him again in the last couple of weeks because of what he's doing for the people over there, they've tried to assassinate him again. So hopefully he's well protected by the people. Evidently, he's well protected because they didn't succeed again. I think this is about the 23rd time they have tried to assassinate him over there in Burkina Faso. But he's doing work for their people. Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah. So I just wanted to take a moment to discuss. Turn it over to Jill. Number one, because she wasn't at the top of the show, rather, can tell us what is happening in over there in Oklahoma.
Thank you. Over there, Derek said over there.
Remember the county.
two counties over. What's going on?
Over there.
So I think I will start with, of course, we'll get to the MLK information soon, but we did have a phenomenal thing happen earlier this week. Okaloosa County Board of Commission voted to approve the appointment of Michelle Shelton. She's an MCS, BSN, RN, and African American as the administrator of the Florida Department of Health in Okaloosa County. She was identified as the best candidate with an excellent and diverse background for Okaloosa County. That is huge. We have very few people at that level and elected officials that are African American, and we know that she's going to do an amazing job. Hopefully, it will impact lives sooner than later. So congratulations. And then, of course, to MLK and everything that's going on. Remember, in Okaloosa County, Crestview does one thing and then Fort Walton does another. So Crestview's event is this Saturday, January 17th. They have moved the location for the lineup for their march. And in Crestview, it is definitely a march. They're going to start at 9:30 a.m. at Life Point Church parking lot. And then they'll walk to Veterans Memorial. And then they'll have a program, and their guest speaker is Irvin Johnson. That usually takes about an hour and a half. Hopefully the weather will be not as cold as it usually is around this time. So we are inviting everybody to come out, march with the community. They usually have a really good turnout. And then in Fort Walton, they have a program. On yesterday, Saturday, they did the oratorical. Then on Sunday, they will do their programming at Beulah First Baptist Church at 5 p.m. It's located at 109 McGriff Street. And then on Monday, they have their parade, the floats. That lineup will be at 8 o'clock. parade starts at 10, and then afterwards they'll go to Chester Pruitt Park and they do a celebration there. They'll have voter registration and different organizations that will speak and talk. And this year, Lewis Jennings, who is the vice chair of the NAACP Okaloosa, and myself, we will get to be the commentators. So we will be out at the parade, not judging, but commentating on each of the floats and the organizations that are marching and participating. So we look forward to seeing everybody. I do know that they said for Monday, if for some reason the weather is too cold, and I don't know what too cold is, that they are looking at doing an indoor program. So it will not be canceled. They're forced, looking forward what we were unable to do last time when they canceled everybody's everything. We're not letting that happen this time. They have a backup plan in place. So that's good. I think I had something else. Crestviews Mardi Gras starts January 31st. Many people are into that. Triple B is really huge there as well. That's March 28th. And then the Okaloosa DBC, Democratic Black Caucus of Florida, there's the Crestview Mardi Gras. Thank you, Derek, for putting that up. If you are into Mardi Gras, they do a great job. Triple B is an opportunity. 10,000 plus people come to Crestview. You should experience it at least once. And then Okaloosa DBC, that's where I was. They have their meeting on Tuesday. It is open enrollment. I'm sure BJ and Derek already went over this, but open enrollment for all of the Black caucuses across the state. Membership is, I'm trying to think if I can say that for everybody, but at least in our area, I believe it's $30 if you're 65 or older. And if you are 64 and a student, and if you're 64 or younger, then it is $50. I'm just trying to make sure I got everybody's. I'm not sure about Santa Rosa, but I think that's correct. Anyway, join, get engaged, get involved. It's important. We cannot do this alone. You see all of the issues and concerns that we are bringing up on the show. And then in your own lives. And it does really take all of us. So engagement in different political, faith-based, and other organizations are going to be key for us pulling ourselves together to do the work that needs to be done. And then I think Derek is ready and wanting to share information on a fabulous event that we did invite everyone to. We had a wonderful turnout from Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa County, over 25 people. I think we were probably up to 30 with the group that came, the extra people that showed up, to go to Jackson County DEC and join Miss Judy Mount, the former vice chair of the Florida Democratic Party, the first Black chair of the Florida Democratic Party, not once, but twice. And at her Boots and Blues event.
And I learned something new. The longest standing county chair in the state of Florida.
I would believe it. I don't think that she won't go until God calls her. So the longest standing chair in the state of Florida. And Derek, do you have, I don't know what you have, so I don't know what. Okay. I'm sure he has some pictures. Jerry went, Derek went, so I'm going to let them share their experience. We had a good time. You see us in our Western gear. You probably would not know this, but I would be in my cowgirl attire for all of my life if I could. Don't look like that, BJ. I love it. I have my boots, and I would be like super happy. I'm glad it's around your neck, Derek, in that picture. And then there's Rick Gable and Zach. Rick Gable used to be Party Affairs, phenomenal. And the new Party Affairs director is Zach Slay. And I don't know who the other gentleman is, but it just really was a good time. Jerry Demings was there. He's running for governor. He's coming to the Panhandle. We're excited. And all because Judy brought him here. And then there's Lewis Jennings and Mr. McIntosh and myself. And then did you share Jermaine's?
No, I was going to let him do so at a later
Okay.
time.
And then there's Jermaine. We got lots to tell about him, but he'll be on the show to tell you about that. And then
But
that's
you can see
Danny
it
Dillard.
in his shirt. So for those, if you look at
Okay,
his shirt.
well, there's the secret. Don't want to breaking news.
Oh,
And he is talking to the mayor pro temp for Cinco Bayou out of Okaloosa County, probably one of our longest standing Black elected officials. Again, with Danny Dillard. That's John Armour, who is the Democratic Black Caucus of Florida president, and William Cox, who is the Okaloosa DEC state committee man. And
Nixon.
Andy Nixon and Hale.
People I don't know.
Got some more people that were from Mariana, having a good time. As you see, people were excited. There is Diane Dillard and Glenda Alfred Atkins, along with John Armour and Danny Dillard. You can see the excitement, just the opportunity. These are candidates that's a great picture. If you know the history, to see candidates here in front of you, like you could touch them, you could talk to them, you could hear what they had to say, and they were listening to you. That must have been food.
There's our Lil being in charge of the desserts.
That's Lil. Yeah, I see Lil. She's the dessert person. That's great. Jerry Demings again. Angie Nixon again. Hey-o. And this is Tamika Lyle. She is also running for Senate. And she has, I know, been talking to BJ. She also plans to come up here to all 3 counties.
But we're going to come back to that.
Okay. Well, I'm just narrating your pictures so people know.
And there's Representative Gallup Franklin.
Okay, thank you.
Gallup Franklin out of Gaston County and Leon County. And the DEC chair for Leon County. Y'all know that man?
Right there?
Uh-huh.
He's running for Attorney General, right?
No, that's not him.
It's not him. I can't see, so who was he?
I don't know.
Okay, well, he was somebody.
He's running for Congress. He's running for Congress.
Okay, thank you, Jerry.
Oh, that's the CD2 man. That's what.
Yes, that is who he is. Okay. And of course, Jerry Demings. You see them holding up the signs. They were excited. And we gave Miss Judy Mount a early birthday present from the Northwest Florida Panhandle Coalition for Civic Engagement, and the Democratic Black Caucus of Florida, and the DBCs for Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, and Escambia.
You have no comment on this picture?
No. And then you see everybody. There's Heather that came for the first time. This was at Judy's house. That is the Democratic National Chair, Ken Martin. So the one thing, like we told you who Judy was, and she will be on the show one day and she'll share all her secrets. But she was able to get the Democratic National Chair to the Panhandle. And he talked one-on-one. He took pictures. It was an amazing conversation to see how real he was and how he understood everything. And we had some new people. Jessie was probably one of the youngest. I think she's 17, so she might have been the youngest one there. We had new people that had never been to the event. And that's Tamara. Tamara took most of those pictures, if not all of them, or he's going to her pictures, not sure. So
those were her pictures.
Jerry, tell us what you thought, because you were there, you got to experience it.
Were you talking to me, Jill?
Yes, Jerry McIntosh. I'm sorry, Mr. McIntosh.
Yeah, it was really, really nice, and The sister Tamika, she's awesome speaker. But on top of that, all of them said they were gonna come to the show and be on our show with us. That they're gonna, those that are running for governor and running for all the other positions. They are saying that they said that they would come on the show as soon as we invite them. So we'll be talking to hopefully one of the future governor, one of the future senators, and maybe state's attorney general and congress person, and future people that's going to be representing us in Northwest Florida and throughout the state. So overall, it was a great, great program. Food was good. Uh, Everything was really nice. But yeah, of course, I hung out with you, Gio, while you were taking up tickets at the door.
Yeah, but Derek and them got to have like the fun inside, and I'm always the person at the door welcoming everybody, taking tickets, collecting the money, making sure everybody's about to step into the room and have some fun. So we would thank you, Jerry, for hanging out, and Tamara did as well often. And Derek would check back in every once in a while and then go have some more fun. So Derek, what did you think?
I always think that shooting up was the best thing since sliced bread, and the event was absolutely phenomenal. I think next year, when she does it, Haley should be the DJ. And yeah, I think the events were great. It was good to hear something from Jerry Dimmons because we haven't heard anything. So to hear something was good. Now I will say, 100% will say, that man is relatable. Like he talks.
Who was it? I'm sorry. Who did you say?
Jerry.
Okay, go
ahead. He talks to you like y'all been cool for 30 years. I mean, there was no like, I'm a candidate running for governor, blah, 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 and let's talk and do all of this. It wasn't that. He was cool. Matter of fact, I said some things to him, and I was probably a little bit, if I look back on it, I was probably too comfortable in some of the stuff that I said. In hindsight, I probably should have said some of the things I said, but it was out of my mouth before I could take it back. Still stand by it, but it is what it is. But he was cool people. And Ken Martin, the DNC chair, to take the time to come to Marianna, to come to Jackson County, I was like, cool. That speaks volumes about who Judy is, because, and to who he is as well for even, making the time. That man, he said he was on 3 different planes trying to get from wherever he lives in Minnesota to
out of the country.
Oh, he was out of the country? Oh, okay.
Yeah, coming and trying to get back in time.
So coming from wherever he came from back to Jackson County, he took planes, trains, and automobiles, and he made it back. He literally made it back. And to come to her house, I was thankful to be invited to the after party, is what we would say, to make sure that we got a chance to hear from all of the candidates and have one-on-one time and talk to those folks. So it was good to see. I think it was a great, excellent opportunity. I would highly encourage anyone who has not been, when 2027 comes around, that you make your way over to Marianna, because it was definitely a great time. We didn't do much dancing. I don't think anybody did any dancing, as a matter of fact. They had music, but no dancing. Which sucked because I took the time to learn boots from the ground. But I didn't do it. So
normally they do it afterwards, and then because Judy had the after party, I also know she has everybody play a song, and normally they dance up to the song, and they didn't do that. So maybe that was the dancing time. Did you have anything else before I say anything? That's all you're gonna say, dude?
That's all. Well, I can say some other stuff, but I probably am not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. So.
Okay. All right. I too thought it was great. Ken Martin was there. I want to say it was about 4 or 5 years ago. as a DNC vice chair. So he wasn't the chair yet. And he was like captivating. I was like, I can't believe he was the keynote at that time. So to see him again in his capacity of the DNC chair, he too was very relatable. He listened, he answered the questions straight on. He didn't try to sugarcoat. And he realized the issues that are there. He recognized them. He went over some of their plans, and made sure that each person that asked a question, that they were answered, and kind of kept that room going for a good almost 45 minutes, it seemed like. Jerry Demings, I was in Orlando when COVID hit. Well, I was here and I went there because my doctor sent me there so that I could live. So I'm thankful for that. That's a whole nother story. But he was the mayor then. And so all of the work that he did to help the community, I always knew, like, you see him go out, obviously they had a lot of conversations and talking. So for Derek to say he's down to earth, he really is. He is just one of those that you can literally have a conversation like he's your neighbor and you guys go to church together or go to play golf together or whatever it is that you do, go ride your bike, your scooter, or whatever it is. And I think for us, it was great because Judy gave us that opportunity on purpose to not only be there, but to talk to them, to make sure that they're coming to all of the Panhandle, that all of those candidates, just like Jerry said, that are going to come on the show are actually going to also come to our different counties, and they've all committed to do so. We don't have dates yet, but they have committed. They understand the importance of the Panhandle, all of the Panhandle. I believe they're going to do Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, and move their way towards Tallahassee in different locations. But we've got them locked in for Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa. And that is exciting because it's been a long time since we've had, especially multiple candidates. And I think that everyone should, before you make your decisions, you should hear from each candidate, because we will now have 2 gubernatorial candidates that will have come to the area. There's 8 of them or 9 of them. Who knows? There's another one added every day. But the 2 top ones right now are Mayor Demings and Jolly. And then we have 2 people soon to be running for Senate that we know that are coming. There's actually several also for that. But both Angie Nixon, if she gets in, and Tamika Lyles, they both said that they would come. And then, of course, the other people that are in our area and the Attorney General, he absolutely said, just give me a date, I'll be here. So for that, I think Derek said it best. It really tells you who Judy Mountain is. She gives back, and she cares. And to be a chair that long and still reach out, like, there's no reason. She doesn't need Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa to come, but she wants us to come because she cares about us. And if we need speakers, we need help, we have a situation, she's there. She's always there. She's not, almost said, running up and down the countryside to pretend that you want to be there, but she's really there. Like, she cares about us. So much so that she invited our entire team into her house, so that the entire team, many of them young Dems, many of them new to their leadership roles, into her house to sit down with the Democratic National Chair. And that just doesn't happen often. So just to Judy Mountain, we simply love you.
The majority first-time attendees.
Yeah.
Too.
And you keep doing what you're doing, and the rest of us, we're just thankful and grateful for you. And yep, I think that's all I got for you.
BJ, are you still with your mom celebrating her birthday? Please tell your mom happy birthday from
Happy birthday!
Our Voices and all that other stuff. I can tell your setup was different.
Yeah, I'm at my brother's house and celebrating my mom's 65th birthday.
Birthday.
birthday later.
Very excited. I'll show you guys the pictures. I put my my Facebook profile picture is the look I had to her wedding, to her party.
Is that the tuxedo picture?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say you unfortunately you missed a good time, but we'll have to tell you about the aside stuff.
Happy to hear.
So in regards, I think that's all that I have. Does anybody else have anything in the last 3 minutes that they need to bring up to share?
Just question. It was it raining when y'all left, Mariana?
Slightly. It wasn't pouring, but it was like
I had ran into
medium drizzle.
I had ran into some hard rain. And I'm like, this is scary right here. You could barely see, but I wasn't stopping. I wasn't gonna stop on that road. Else somebody might run me over. So I'm gonna drive at least 10, 15 miles an hour. But it lasts for about a mile, mile and a half, and then it was just regular rain. But at first, it was like sheets of rain. That's when I called you, Jill, to tell you it was pouring down. So I wanted y'all to be careful out there.
No, I'm glad you actually called because we were able to tell the people that were leaving, because some of the people went straight back home and some went to Judy's house. We were able to tell them, hey, in about 45 minutes, 40 miles, you're going to hit rain really heavy.
Yeah.
Like everybody got home safely. And
yeah, I guess before I got to Crestview, it hadn't just really got down to a little drizzle. By the time I got to Pensacola, it hadn't stopped. But it rained again, but after I got back here. But I was happy that it didn't rain. It wasn't raining like that all the way, 'cause that was scary. And and everybody put their flashes on trying to get through through that rain, that heavy rain, because it was really scary at that time. So I'm glad it wasn't raining like that when y'all came through. Anyway, Derek, get back to you.
Make sure that you have your book recommendations, if you like.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to recommend this Asa G. Here, The Maroon Within Us. It's a selected essays on African American communities. Where am I? I'm out of the camera here. African American communities socialization, but it's a really, really good read, and it tells you a lot about what was going on in our community and how relevant it is today. But I got a whole lot more books I'm gonna be recommending in the next few for the next shows coming up. But other than that, it's back to you, Derek, and I hope that everybody have a good night and a good week coming up. Back to you.
Well, certainly we do thank you for joining us this evening with our voices. The People's Media, please make sure that you join us next week, same time, same channel. Have a great week, be productive, and we will see you Sunday. Take care.
have a great night.
Good night.